What is up, awesome people of the internet? Y'all, we are continuing on with the the um the conference tournaments. Guys, I am a little bit I'm actually very bummed out right now. Because the story of the day really just occurred several minutes ago. Last year, Poa, the current starting point guard for LSU, she had a very bad injury where she was trying to look like she was trying to draw a charge. Um, and as we know, last year Poa is always drawing charges. She's always doing a great job of that, but she went down and hit her head really, really hard on the court. Um, the volume is low again. I don't know why this volume is always staying low. All right, guys. So, yeah, as it says, last year Poa did go down. This was late in the game, and she went to go try to get a charge, and she hit her head really, really bad on the court. And at first she was down for a while. Then it looked like she started crying. And then the player started to try to help her up. And she was kind of like she was kind of falling back down, and she wasn't steady at all. And then Angel pulled her into like a bear hug of sorts. Then finally, it seemed like the training staff came out, and they tried to walk her back to the bench, but it was clear that something serious is wrong with last year Poa, and they do not need to move her head and neck, because that was a very bad, what looks like a head injury, and you don't want to move people like that. You want to put like a neck brace and whatnot on. So they put her back down on the ground, brought in the stretcher, and then put her on the stretcher, and then carried her off the court. That was a very, very scary moment, an extremely scary moment to witness. It's one thing for a player to have an injury. Like that's, we see a lot of injuries. We saw lots of injuries today, and we'll talk about those in a sec. But it's different when it's at someone's head and neck area, right? Because that is like absolutely critical. It makes it very scary, the fact that they moved her, right? Because I don't think they thought that it was that bad, right? It was first just LSU players around last year Poa, and it took forever, it seemed, for the training staff to get there and for medical personnel to get there, and they moved her, and it was just like, the more and more I watched it, I was like, oh no, she's really, really hurting, really, really bad. Like you don't move her in those types of situations. You say, hey, stay down, stay still. Let's put a neck brace on you, and let's get you to a stretcher. Like I hope that the powers that be in NCAA like use this horrible situation as a reminder to programs. Like, hey, like, this is serious. You can't be messing with people when they have a head injury, right? And it's not like LSU players knew. Like this is not against LSU players at all. This is against LSU training staff. This is against the medical personnel that was in the room, like that was at the game. Like you have to take control and not just be like, oh, it seems like she wants to get up and walk and make her way to the, no, y'all, this was tough to watch. Like I got like extremely emotional watching it happen, because that's someone's livelihood. That is someone's life. And yeah, it was really, really bad. prayers up for last year Poa, that she is okay. I mean, who cares about basketball? You know, whatever. It doesn't matter if she returns back to play this season. It's about her actual health. It's like her real, like her actual quality of life and health. So, you know, hopefully this is a lesson learned for the powers that be. Concussion protocol, head and neck injury protocol should be known from everybody, and they should be paying attention to be able to spot stuff like this. So you're not moving her. And again, this is not towards LSU players, because they didn't know. But there's medical professionals that were there that should have known, and should have been doing, should have gotten there quicker, you know. And initially they made it kind of seem like it was like a regular, fall, right? But it wasn't. It was serious, and you can't. I don't even know how long it was until like LSU staffer people came to her. Like it felt like it was forever, and we were just staring at her on the ground, looking at her cry, and then seeing LSU players trying to pull her up, and it was terrible. It was really, really terrible. So absolutely, please keep last year Poa in your prayers, please, because that was a very, very scary injury. We're gonna move on and talk about other stuff, but I did just want to start off with that, because that is very serious. That is very, very serious, and we we only have one life, right? And so when certain stuff happens, it's important for us to learn from it and move on. Richard says, I hope we're not placing blame. I mean, I am placing blame against the medical staff. I am, that were there. I am placing blame against them. I am. Not the players. This has nothing to do with LSU players at all. Like I think they didn't understand the severity of it, and it's the professionals, the medical professionals that were there, that should have gotten there earlier, right? They should have been able to spot what was going on and say, like, hey, don't touch her. Don't touch her. Let her put her back on the ground, and let's quickly bring out the stretcher, and let's get this all situated, right? So I am placing blame. Yes, I am. Richard, and I don't feel anything bad about placing blame, because this is on the medical professionals. This is not on the players. This is not me talking about the players. This is the training staff. This is the stretcher folks. That stretcher should have been out there a lot earlier, right? So yes, I am placing blame on this. I am. All right, guys. We are going to move on, because that was absolutely horrible, and I absolutely, just prayers for last year Poa, and that this does not happen again. That the NCAA does better, that teams do better, and that we have a better protocol next time something like this happens. Because this stuff will happen. It's a physical contact sport, so it's important for us to learn from it, and to if this happens again in the future, to quickly get out there, and so anyway, all right, let's continue to move on. So guys, just so you all know, LSU did win today against Ole Miss. They put out a huge victory against Ole Miss, and y'all, this game was really entertaining. There was runs throughout. LSU started off really good in the game. Then it seemed like Ole Miss was starting to get it together, right, in that second quarter and going into the third. And I was like, okay, we got a game. This is gonna be like the South Carolina Tennessee game. It's gonna be tough all the way through. And I think when last year Poa went down, it was specifically Flau'jae Johnson, who was really good throughout the game. It felt like she took it up another notch. It felt like she took it up another notch and was like, nah, I'm doing this for Poa. Now I'm about to hit some more shots. I'm about to play defense with more intensity than I had before. And she did her thing. Big Foe once again did her thing. The last game she had a career night. Today she had 21 points. She was pretty efficient. She was very efficient from the field, 8 of 14, 3 of 4 from the 3-point line. And she also did her thing on defense, 3 steals, and just was trying to be everywhere. And once again, she has proven to show up when her team needs her the most. Let's see. Thank you so much, Aubrey, for the super chat. Thank you, Aubrey. Aubrey says, I think it's time to end these conference tournaments. Too many key players getting injured in these games and not available for the NCAA tournament. Aubrey, I understand what you're saying. However, that's never going to happen. That's never going to happen because there's a lot of money to be made. There's a lot of money to be made from tournament conference tournaments, right? You see that today's day was sold out for the SEC tournament. Tomorrow is sold out for the SEC tournament, the championship game. We see the Big Ten is sold out. Was sold out for the entire length of their conference tournament. There's a lot of money, not just attendance revenue, but it is also a lot of TV revenue that is at stake as well. So I don't think they're getting rid of that. Also, guys, if y'all hit that like button, that would be fantastic. We got like 370 in the chat. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. If y'all can hit that like button, that would be extremely, extremely awesome. Also, if y'all have not subscribed to the channel, please make sure to do that. We are now turning on participant mode, subscribers only for the chat. So now if you are not subscribed to the chat or subscribed to the channel, you will not be able to post something in the chat. So just subscribe and then type in whatever you want to say. All right. Karan says, I agree with Aubrey. RC. RC says, we definitely got to keep these conference tournaments in play. They're great precursors to the tournament. They are. Queen says, did another LSU player get injured? No. There are other players who did get injured. So we're gonna talk about some of the other players who got injured. But yeah, I just wanted to quickly recap this LSU game, and then we'll move on to talk about Notre Dame and talk about their injury. We're gonna talk about Yukon and their injury as well, or their injuries as well. It wasn't just last year Poa who got hurt today. However, she was the most critical injury, right? The other injuries weren't as extreme, leg injuries, nose injuries. That's important. But, what has happened with last year Poa, that trumps all other injuries that happened. So I wanted to start off the stream with that. But yeah, there were other injuries today. There were other injuries. Thank you so much, Breland, for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. Wishful Thinking says, Flau'jae was motivated to get the W for Poa. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely was motivated. Leslie, you have a point there. Leslie says, maybe the problem is back-to-back days playing. Yes. I mean, that is a problem. However, I don't know what they can do to solve for that. And the reason why I say that is because there is no, you have to fit a lot of games in a short period of time, right? And I'm not really sure if we can, they would have to extend March Madness to late February, March, and April Madness, right? So I'm not sure exactly if they would do that, but yeah, that is a huge problem. That is an absolute huge problem. Let's see what else y'all got to say. David, thank you so much for the super chat, David. David says, I wanted Ole Miss to win, but now I want Cardoso to give Angel the can't see me. When South Carolina crushes them, Cardoso is the only 100% three-point shooter. Camilla gonna hit her with this. You can't see me. Yeah, we're gonna talk about the rematch of South Carolina versus LSU. We're gonna get into that. What up, RC? The person who always changes his name. Now you got RC, your Aces and Hawkeyes guy. Okay, RC. RC says, Quita, you might go after Caitlyn. That is. Of course, after Caitlyn. Of course, RC. Of course. You know, we know you rock hard for your players, for your Iowa and Aces and UCLA and whatever else, whatever other team you really rock with. But yeah, thank you so much for the super chat. I really do appreciate it, guys. Let's kind of continue on talking about this LSU versus Ole Miss game. In this game, as I said, it really was kind of a game of two halves of sorts, where I felt like sort of first half was primarily LSU. End of the second half, I felt like, you know, Ole Miss was sort of getting a little bit of momentum. Third quarter, I thought Ole Miss did a really, really great job. And for me, Ole Miss, their stuff starts with Madison Scott. Madison Scott is a post player, but she's a post player that has guard-like skills, right? She can put the ball on the court. I believe they said she played some 3-on-3 basketball, and that was pretty awesome. I really, really liked the way Madison Scott played today. I thought she was doing her best to sort of will her team to win. She got to the free throw line. She made her free throw. She was getting her teammates involved, passing the ball around. She did get into a little bit of foul trouble, which was a thing. But overall, I thought Madison Scott did all she really could to get her team a chance to actually make some stuff happen. And Marquisha Davis, I thought she played well as well. She had like 21 points in this game. She defensively, you know, she was picking pockets. Defensively, she was picking pockets. And it wasn't like Ole Miss was going to roll over. They were playing some defense. Like, this is a defensive-minded Ole Miss team. If you have watched Ole Miss play this season, last season, you know that one of the calling cards that they are trying to aim for is to be a defensive juggernaut. Now, the thing about Ole Miss is not just do you need to play some defense, but also when you're playing D and they're hitting shots, now you actually need to start making shots for yourself too. And it was just that efficiency wise, they were pretty okay, shooting around 43% from the field, but you needed a little bit more from the three-point line. You needed to be able to trade buckets with LSU, and that's just something that this Ole Miss team couldn't do right now. But I will say that Madison Scott is phenomenal. Absolutely is phenomenal, and I believe she is returning next season for Ole Miss. And it's good for Ole Miss to have a player like Madison Scott that can just show up and will her team to win. And she didn't do it today. Like, they didn't have enough to do it today, but I thought she gave them as much of a chance as they could. It was her and Marquisha Davis that was trying their best for Ole Miss. But at the end of the day, I said it for South Carolina. I'm saying it for LSU. Winners win. Winners win. And yes, LSU has lost some games that they shouldn't have lost this year, but they're still the defending champions, and they're still going to find a way to win, especially when they have one of their key players go down. They're going to find a way to win. They are going to sort of make it happen for their team. And it starts with, as I always say, the emotional leader of this team is Angel Reese. You know, she gathered the team together after Poa went down and was like, hey, let's win this for her. Let's win this game for our teammate who just went down. We don't know exactly what happened, but let's win the game for last tier Poa. Let's make it happen, guys. Let's make it happen. And they did just that. They did just that. Angel Reese fired up the squad. You saw Flau'jae Johnson, big foe, saying, you know, after she made some shots, she was like, this is for Poa. This is for Poa. This is for Poa right now. And so, you know, that's key. That's key. Winners win, and LSU found a way to win. They found a way to win because they're a good team. Yes, they could have got. Yes, they could have got. Absolutely. But they didn't, because winners win. They find a way to win, and especially when you have a key player go down, you're gonna make it happen. You're gonna make it happen for your team. You are going to make it happen. Let's see what y'all have to say in the chat. Leak says, Quita make me a mod. Okay. All right. All right, Leak, you are now a mod. But y'all, please hit that like button. That would be absolutely fantastic. Kyra says 300 likes for Quita tonight. That would be great. If y'all hit that like button, that would be great. Please hit that like button. It costs you nothing, but it helps more people find the stream. So please hit that like button. Smash it one time for us. Smash it one time. All right, so let's continue to talk about this game, y'all. RC says, I don't think LSU's offense is potent enough to take out South Carolina. I mean, now with last year Poa going down, because you're going to have to play Janae Kent a lot. I mean, she played a lot today. She played a lot the last game, but Janae Kent it's trial by fire right now. It is trial by fire for Janae Kent, and we'll have to see what happens. We will have to see what happens. Apes22 says, at one point, Ole Miss was shooting 17% in the first half. Their offense is too one-dimensional with no outside shooting. Yeah. For Ole Miss, it's get the ball in the paint and make some stuff happen. Get the ball in the paint and mix it up. And LSU, they had active hands today. They had active hands, and they weren't. Yeah, sure, Ole Miss did get stuff in the paint, but they were not going to let Ole Miss dominate them in the paint. There were several shots that Ole Miss had from the 3-point line, but you just can't. They can't make it. They can't make the shots. In terms of field goal overall, you know, they were about 40-something% from the field today, 43% from the field today, but for 3-pointers, they were 30%. You need more shooters. Yes, this is a great defensive team, but at some point, you have to be able to shoot from the 3-point line, right? So yeah, that's for sure a thing, guys. We will do a preview of LSU versus. We will do a preview of LSU versus South Carolina in just a sec, but I do want to also share with you all what else happened in the game. We'll talk about that. What else happened today, I should say. Leek, thank you so much for the super chat. Leek says, thank you, Quita, the biggest mod. I love the biggest mod. All right, Leek. I appreciate you. You be here. You always here. You always here. So I gotta you know, I gotta make people mods who are rocking with me and are always here. So I do appreciate you. All right, guys, I do want to just update you all on the standings right now for the SEC. So, as we know, South Carolina beat Tennessee earlier today. They beat them 74-73 on a bank three from the one and the only, the best 3-point shooter in the country right now. 1-for-1, Mikaylah Cardoso. She hit a game-winning 3-point shot on an inbound pass from Raven Johnson. And y'all, she banked it in, and it was a sight to behold. It was a sight to behold. So the Gamecocks beat the Lady Vols. A'ja Wilson has been trolling Candace Parker because Candace Parker thought her Lady Vols was going to win this game. Everybody seemed to think that the Lady Vols were going to win. But Mikaylah Cardoso said, not so. Not so. I got you. Not so. I'm sorry. Game was 74-75. I'm one off. But yeah, anyway, South Carolina did beat Tennessee by 1 point, 74-75. Sorry about that typo. Sorry about that. All right, and then we saw LSU just beat Ole Miss 75-67. And y'all, what a game we just saw. Big Foe did Big Foe things. Showed up and showed out for LSU, and the Tigers live to fight another day. We will have a rematch in the SEC finals. South Carolina versus LSU. Who is going to win? We're going to talk about that in just a sec. But first, I do want to let you all know the other games that happened. We saw Yukon beat Providence earlier today. We also saw Marquette beat Villanova. When I was making the graphic, the Creighton Seton Hall game and the St. John Georgetown game was not over, so I have not updated that yet. But we will see Yukon go against Marquette tomorrow in the semifinals for the Big East. Now, guys, I am very, very interested to see what happens with Yukon because there was an injury today. But before we get into that, I do have another super chat. So shout out to Nate. Thank you so much, Nate, for the super chat. Nate says, "Hey, Quita, love the content. Can't wait for my Mikaylah Cardoso Sky jersey." I mean, I wouldn't be opposed. To the Sky picking Mikaylah Cardoso. I wouldn't be opposed. Mikaylah Cardoso can play. She can absolutely play. But yeah, let's continue on talking about Yukon because yes, Yukon did beat Providence earlier today. They beat them pretty badly. But a continued issue for there's a continued issue for this team, and it's the fact that you have injuries. So Aalyah Edwards was injured earlier today. She really hurt her nose in the game against Providence. It was like she took a forearm to the face and hurt her nose. She then left the game and then never came back. It was fine. It was fine because UConn did win that game. But this is troubling news for this UConn team because, she left with 6 minutes left to go in the third quarter. But they don't really have a bench, right? She didn't come back to the game, and we don't know if she's going to play tomorrow. We don't know that. Hopefully we find out pretty soon, but we do not know if Aalyah Edwards is going to play. UConn does play tomorrow against in their semifinals. So, and also the championship game is also on Monday night. So it's going to be interesting. It is going to be very interesting. This team only had 8 players available today. All they had was 8 players. And with Aalyah Edwards out, they were down to 7 players. This is not a good look for this UConn team. This is a team that is like severely depleted. They have more players in regular sweats, regular UConn sweats. They have more players in regular UConn sweats than they have players in actual players in actual uniforms. Right? This is Yeah, this is not good. It seemed like she could have broken her nose. There's at least something really bad that happened to Aalyah Edwards' nose. Aalyah Edwards is a tough player. You know, she has been a rock for this team for the last 2 years, right? You've had several players getting hurt, and Aalyah Edwards has always been there. She's always been the player that has rocked out for this team and been available for this Yukon team. And now with her getting hurt, possibly we don't know if she's going to be playing tomorrow. Hopefully she is, for Yukon's sake. Hopefully she is, because again, they only had 8 players available today. Yes, they did get the dub, and yes, they likely can win the Big East with 7 players, but there's no room for error. There is no room for error when you have a situation like that where you don't have a bench at all. It's different if you have a bench and you just don't want to play them. But this team is just, they're just depleted. Like we've gone ad nauseum about all the injuries that UConn has had. So I am not going to go down. I'm not going to run down the list of all the players that have been injured for UConn this season. I did make a separate video about that, just sort of like chronicling all the players that have gotten hurt for this team, both from the summer on through here. And it's just, yeah. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good for this team. But you know, it is what it is. Injuries is a part of women's basketball. It's what happens. And we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Also, guys, if you didn't know, KK Arnold got hurt as well. It didn't seem that bad. It was in the fourth quarter, with not that many minutes left to go. It was either KK Arnold's knee or her thigh, and you know she had to get out of the game. It was like very, very late in the game where she kind of got hurt. It doesn't seem that big of an injury, I don't think. But this is a team that was so depleted that instead of being able to put in a player, instead of being able to put in another bench player, they had to put Nika Mule in the game because they didn't have anybody to put in. And guys, that's tough sledding. That is tough sledding for this UConn team where KK Arnold gets hurt. Now you got to put in your starter for another starter because you don't have anybody. So this is rough. This is very, very rough for UConn. It's just, you know, it's not great. It is not great at all. AEPS 22, thank you so much for the super chat. Whoa, that's a big super chat. Wow. Thank you so much, AEPS 22. They say thank you for highlighting women's sports. Keep doing what you are doing. I will keep it up. But seriously, thank you so much. Yeah, thank all of y'all who give super chats. I really do appreciate it. I really, really do. I really appreciate it. Y'all, Kyra said, keep it classy, y'all. Keep it classy. I don't know what's going on in the chat because I can't keep up with all the comments or whatever. But yeah, y'all keep it classy. Yeah, y'all listen to Kyra, y'all. Listen to Kyra. Yeah, Kyra says 3 strikes and you're out. It's like baseball, y'all. It's like baseball. Keep it classy, people. Yep. Thank you, mods. I really do appreciate it. I really do, because I can't see everything. I can't. I want to see everything, but I can't see everything. So I appreciate y'all, mods, for looking out. I do appreciate y'all. Guys. So we talked about the SEC. We talked about the Big East a little bit. And guys, let's talk about the Big Ten. Let's get into the Big Ten. RC, if you still here, you know this is your time to shine. So the Big Ten had some games today as well. And we saw Maryland lose to Nebraska. Y'all, Nebraska, I became a believer in Maryland yesterday. From yesterday's game where Maryland destroyed Ohio State, I was like, okay, maybe Maryland can make it all the way to the championship game. But that didn't happen. Nebraska got the dub over Maryland in a very, very good game. So y'all, we will see Nebraska playing against Iowa. Thick Vegan Afro, love the name, says low volume, or is it just me? Guys, let me know if it's low volume. I am sorry. I've been having some weird issues where my volume sometimes is it just goes down or whatever. So let me know, guys, in the chat if y'all can hear me or what. So yeah, please let me know in the chat if y'all can hear me, and if the sound is good or if it's too low or too high or like whatever. Yeah, let me know, guys. I do appreciate it. Officer T. Davis says protect Quita at all costs. I appreciate you, Officer Davis. I do appreciate you. I really do appreciate you. I appreciate all y'all. Yo, Brev Stank, man. Wow, what a name. Y'all got some interesting names in this chat. Says classy, not trashy. Facts. All right, so let's get into this game. So we saw Iowa play Michigan. Iowa won 95-68. And Iowa is just, they're looking like a good team. They are looking like a very good team. And I have to say, guys, Caitlyn Clark continues to shine. She continues to shine. And the thing that I really, really appreciate it, that I appreciate and continue to appreciate about Caitlyn Clark's game is that I've said it before, I say it again. Caitlyn Clark loves passing the ball. She loves passing the ball. She loves getting her teammates involved. And that is really, really awesome to see. It really, really is great to see because, they're making it happen. Iowa's making it happen. David, thank you so much for the super chat. David says, Big Ten is my subject. Yeah, we getting into Big Ten talk because, y'all, the Big Ten is fun to watch. Like, I've always kind of watched the Big Ten mainly because I'm in Chicago and, you have Illinois, you have Iowa, you have, Michigan, all Big Ten schools. And also the Big Ten is actually headquartered in Chicago. So, I've been rocking with the Big Ten for a long time, but I have loved seeing Big Ten play because you just never know. You just never know who's going to show up. We saw Maryland showing up at the end of the season, showing up in tournament play. Nebraska has been pretty consistent all throughout the year. We've seen Michigan sort of do their thing as well, getting Indiana. Indiana has injury issues, so that kind of helped Michigan a little bit to get that dub. But yeah, we saw Iowa go against Michigan today, and they won 95-68. J Spot Network, thank you so much for the super chat. Saying hi. My comments are lost in the sea. Yeah, sometimes when it is a lot of people in the chat, I cannot see all y'all chat. So the best way. Honestly, the best way to truly make sure I see y'all comment is to do a super chat. But I try my best to catch as many regular chats and put them in. So yeah. All right. So yeah, let's get into this this Iowa Michigan State game, and y'all, Caitlyn Clark does what Caitlyn Clark does. We talk about how great she is. She had 28 points in this game, 10 of 9 from the field, or 10 of 19 from the field. She was horrible from the 3-point line, but she also got her teammates involved. 15 assists, y'all. Again, 15 assists. Like crazy numbers for Caitlyn Clark today. And this is just, par for the course for a player like Caitlyn Clark, who just gets it done all the time. And y'all, it's not just Caitlyn Clark, y'all. Hannah Stokey did her thing. She got out of the game. We'll see what happens with Hannah Stokey going forward. We'll see. We'll see. We will see what happens with Hannah Stokey. But y'all, it wasn't just Caitlyn Clark for this team. It was oh, guys, I just looked up Hannah Stokey, and it's saying that her ankle is okay. All right. So it's likely that she will be playing on Sunday. All right. So guys, Iowa fans, you all should be happy that it seems like Hannah Stokey will be able to play tomorrow. All right. Let's get into some other talk for Iowa. Now, a thing that I have enjoyed from Iowa is the fact that you've seen other players just sort of step up when they need to. So, for example, Sydney Falter. Sydney Falter has been in the starting lineup since Molly Davis has gone out, and Sydney Falter looks good, y'all. She looks good, and I was very worried about Iowa. I was like, how are they gonna fare with Molly Davis out? But Sydney Falter is like, hey, we're not missing a beat. We are not missing a beat at all. Mikaylah says Sydney Falter been balling. Yes, absolutely, facts. Yes, because it's not Iowa cannot just win with Caitlyn Clark. You have to win by committee. And today it was Caitlyn, it was Sydney Falter, it was Hannah Stokey, it was Kate Martin who did their thing. Hannah Stokey went 7 of 7, 7 of 7, perfect from for the game. And this is what she does. This is what she does. RC says, Sydney a boulder of Falter. I love it. Yeah, man. Like this team is clicking. This team is clicking. And so I'm just saying we are looking at a number 1 seed in Iowa. We are looking at a number 1 seed in Iowa, and they're playing like a number 1 seed in Iowa. The thing that I have been harping on for Iowa is like their defense, but their defense has been looking pretty good. It's been looking pretty good. Elmira says, honestly, when Molly comes back, I won't be surprised if Sydney remains in the starting 5. Yeah, Sydney should remain in the starting 5 because Molly Davis, even if she does come back in the NCAA tournament, she won't be 100% coming on the court, right? She'll be like, 80% or something like that. So yeah, it makes sense to have Sydney Falter still start and have Molly Davis come off the bench. That to me, that makes a lot of sense. And I think it's likely. That will happen. Nola Origin says women's college basketball needs to change the rules and add the under the basket protection line. Yeah, they got rid of it this year. And I think they're going to have to bring it back because we have seen some very hard falls, some very, very hard falls that probably wouldn't happen if that restriction area was observed. So yeah, I think they probably will bring that back. Yeah. I think they probably will bring that back because that leads to some injuries. That leads to some injuries that you just can't have going forward. You can't have it. And guys, I do want to go into take a quick look at the post-game presser. The presser for Ole Miss has just been put up. And Drew says, I just watched the Ole Miss press conference, and the coach said they need to change their rules. Y'all might want to watch it. So, yeah, thank you so much, Drew. I appreciate the heads up there. I think we will. I think we will go to it because I do think they need to change the rules. So I'm assuming Coach Yo is once again being a great human being and advocating for things that will better the game of women's basketball, and doing away with bringing back the restricted area. I'm assuming that's probably what she's talking about. I think that would be very, very helpful for the game. So we're gonna take a quick look at the post-game presser for Ole Miss, and then once they publish the one for LSU, we'll get into that one as well. So guys, just give me one hot second, and we will get into it. All right.
Take questions for Coach Yo. Gabriella.
Coach, it seemed like you were in the locker room for quite a while at the half. What was the conversation and speech for the team?
First of all, we never come out early at halftime. We use that time to debrief, talk through, strategize, that kind of stuff. But my message was, I didn't understand why they didn't come out and play and execute the game plan the way I felt like it should have been executed. But luckily this time it wasn't 50 to 30 something and we had to claw our way back, you know what I'm saying? So I think games like this kind of rear its head when it comes to like that elite level point guard. You feel it in games like this. No excuse. I mean, we have a really good record.
Can you guys not hear it?
Know how to win.
I'm seeing Nolan saying turn it up. Unfortunately, I don't think I can turn it up any higher. I'm having some like weird speaker issues. Is it like too low where it's like it's not even worth playing it? Let me know, guys. And then Steven saying no visual on screen if you're watching the vid. I don't know what that means, Steven. I don't understand what that means.
It's gonna give me heartburn. Like closing out going in the half. We were unlucky coaching her thus far. They have learned too, but we had chances to win. And look, she went out there, and I thought they were intentional.
All right, so some people are saying they can hear it fine. Great. All right.
What's the best case scenario for her in her future?
I think the best case
Next level,
and you eat 3 times a day. And I always tell Quee,
I'm trying to find the.
And where have you seen her grow?
I'm trying to. We can only see the graphics still. What? Sorry, I'm a bit confused. What's going on? I haven't published it yet. Oh my goodness. Wow. I'm so smart. Guys, I am so smart. Oh my goodness, guys. Sometimes I sometimes I blank. All right, here we go. Y'all should hear it now. And see it.
Zakaya, but Zakaya is a puppy, I'm saying. So I think games like this kind of rear its head when it comes to like that elite level point guard. You feel it in games like this. No excuse. I mean, we have a really good record, so obviously we know how to win. I'm just talking basketball. There were moments I wish Zakiya was a little older.
Statement from Coach Yo, and then we'll take questions from Madison, and then we'll follow that up with questions for Coach Yo.
I thought it was a fought hard game. I thought both teams really competed for 40 minutes. I thought, you're not going to hear any crying about me about the officiating or anything like that. I thought it was a well-officiated game for the most part. I do think that something has to be done with this whole block charge thing. It was unfortunate to see last tier go down. I mean, there needs to be a rule, and then people won't slide under people, and I've seen it happen twice. And if we're trying to protect players, then why don't we make the rule? Because that was dangerous. And she was trying to make a play, because right now the rule says no matter where you are on the floor, attempt to get up under someone and take a charge. And then she had to go out on a stretcher. So something has to be done with that rule. That's simple. If we're trying to protect players, let's protect players. And that's not the official's fault. It's the rule that's wrong. All right? But nevertheless, we take our win.
All right, so that is what Coach Yo had to say about the idea that the rule should be changed. And I agree. So they made a big deal about they changing the rule this year where that sort of circle doesn't count. So before that circle used to be used to mean something in terms of whether something is a block or a charge. The restricted area was a thing before. It was. And now it's not. And now it's sort of like, okay, we're looking at the people who make the rules a little bit suspect. Okay, like, hey, now you need to change the rule again. Now you need to change the rule again because you just changed it. and clearly it is leading to injuries. It is leading to players, as Coach Yo said, sliding right up underneath people because they know they're going to get a charge. They know that it doesn't matter where they're at on the court. It doesn't matter if they're in the former restricted area. They can still get a charge. And you can't have that because players want to win, right? So they're going to do certain stuff that'll help them win. And it makes sense, right? It's within the rules. That's why the rule itself sucks. Queen said, I just read up on the restricted area in basketball and never realized how vital it is. Yeah, it's extremely vital. It is extremely vital for the health of not just the players, but the game itself. It helps to bring consistency to the game. It helps to bring consistency to the game. And that's why I think it's very, very important. So yes, Queen, I it's very vital, and I hope they bring it back. I really do hope they bring it back because they need to. DD in Tennessee says Ole Miss has a classic coach. Yeah, they do. I really really like Coach Yo. She's one of my favorite coaches in women's college basketball. She is just because she's real. She's real. There's nothing fake about her. It doesn't feel like she ever has a filter. She says whatever she feels. And I think that's great. I think that is very, very great. KG says, yes, I agree. They need to add me back in. Shoot says, quit and make me a mod. Today is my birthday, and I love the way you analyze the women's game. Shoot, I really do appreciate the support. I only make people mods who I've seen in the chat a lot, and seen be very active in the chat. So I appreciate your love. I appreciate your support. But and also happy birthday. I hope you're having a fantastic day. But I only make people mods who I've seen be extremely active. And my apologies if you have been very active in the chat lately and I've just been missing it. I do apologize for that. But I will be looking out for your chats and your comments in the future just so I can get a vibe of who you are. And just make sure you know, and then I'll make you a mod. So I'm sorry I cannot make you a mod today. mainly because I have not seen your comments. I'm sorry. But I hope you have a fantastic day. I hope you're having a great day. And happy birthday. Shoot. Is that how you say your name? Hopefully it is. Hopefully I'm saying it right. But if I'm not saying it right, let me know in the chat. All right, Low Key says, exactly, Coach Yo, because coaches relying on players to take charges instead of teaching them actual defense. I mean, but it is actual defense. It's within the rules. So it makes sense that coaches are coaching, are teaching them players to do a certain thing, right? But that's why the rules need to change. You can't blame the coaches. The coaches do what they need, what they want, what they feel like they need to do to win. It's the rule that's problematic. It's the rule. Shannon says, and Poa used her body a lot. Yeah. She has like 30 plus charges on the season. Yeah. She's very, very good at it. Queen says, so the restricted area is still on the court, but the rule isn't. Yes. Yeah. And the reason why it's still on the court is because, it sort of brings a little bit of uniformity to the court. I mean, because it exists on all levels. The restricted area exists on all levels. So they kept it, but it doesn't mean anything. And so hopefully they bring it back next season, because you want it to mean something. You want it to mean something because it's critical. It's critical for the health. It's now apparent that it is critical for the health of players. It is player safety for you to bring that back. Malachi, thank you so much for the super chat. Says she is not classy. She was tweeting, talking blank about Aneesah Morrow the day before the tournament started. She was? Oh, I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about that. The stuff I've seen from Coach Yo has always been very like grow the game specific. And so yeah, I don't know anything about that. I do appreciate you sharing that. I'll look into it. I will look into it. But yeah, I'm not completely sure what you're specifically what you're referencing. The stuff I mainly see about Coach Yo is just different like snippets from interviews and whatnot. And she seems to be like super like genuine and real and whatnot. But yeah, I don't know anything about that, Malachi. But I do appreciate the super chat though. I really do. I appreciate the super chat. All right. So, guys, I do want to call your attention to I want to call your attention to the rule change. So yeah, as we sort of talked about already, that's not what I want to show. I'm going to pull up the rules and how it's changed and their explanation for why it changed. All right. So let's get into that because this restricted area thing it's a big deal. It is absolutely a big deal. And I think it's important for us as fans to see what the rule is and to understand the rule and to talk about why, in my opinion, at least, this rule needs to change. All right, so here we go. So this is what the NCAA put out earlier. So earlier this season, there was a NCAA panel that approved several rule changes. So let's get into the specific rules that were changed. So it says here, The panel approved reducing the restricted area arc from 4 feet in the lane to the area directly underneath the basket. So it's literally the cylinder of the basket. Right underneath that is the new restricted area. It says defenders cannot establish a legal guarding position directly underneath the basket. This rule also eliminates the lower defensive box rule. Under this new rule, there will be no need for additional court markings on the court. The committee hopes simplifying the rule will bring about a better understanding for officials, coaches, players, and fans. It says previously, secondary defenders had to be outside of the 4-foot restricted area to draw a charge. The lower defensive box was an imaginary area designed by 2 thick marks on the end line and the second lane space marks from the free throw line, and that distinguished when the restricted area rule was in effect. So guys, that is what happened, right? That is what has happened to the rule, and that's sort of the explanation that they gave at the time. Yeah, so that's kind of the rule. I wanted to just walk through that because, they're going to have to bring that box back. They're going to have to bring back the restricted area and expand it from not just underneath the cylinder, because that's kind of crazy to have it just underneath the basket. But yeah, I did want to just share that with you. That was a new rule that was just put in earlier today. So yeah. All right. Didi in Tennessee says, just wondering why they had 2 super senior citizens with a stretcher. I mean, they're probably probably the ambulance company that was hired for the game. So that's probably what happened. Okay, Kyra's provided an explanation on like what the deal was with Coacho. Okay, so Kyra says Aneesah said people didn't think she could hack it in the SEC, and Coacho said, who said that? Nobody in the SEC, and people were saying she was calling Aneesah a liar. Oh, okay. All right, thank you, Kyra, for giving that additional context. I appreciate it. And Loki says exactly, because every coach in the SEC wanted her, literally. Yeah, it could be that, both are right? Aneesah probably heard people, most likely fans, saying that they didn't think she could hack it, and then Coach Yo was like, no, because literally every coach wanted you. Everybody wanted you, Aneesah. So I mean, I don't think that's like a calling out. I mean, that both are saying are saying what they think is right. Again, this is just from me having the context of what Kyra just said, posted in the chat. I did not see any of this originally. But yeah, guys, I did want to walk through the rule change for you. It is a little bit confusing. The committee was hoping to simplify it, but clearly they need to change it. so we'll see if they change it. We will see. But guys, I do want to share some other updates for you. So let's talk about the Pac-12. So the Pac-12, we have a date with destiny tomorrow. Stanford versus USC. This is going to be a very, very fun game to watch. Now, I think that Stanford likely will pull out the win tomorrow. Now, guys, tomorrow we have the championship games for a lot of things, right? We have the Pac-12 championship game, we have the ACC championship game, and we have the SEC championship game. So Stanford beat Oregon State on Friday. And USC beat UCLA, and Juju Watkins showed up and showed out, and did her thing. So now we have Stanford versus USC. Now here's one thing that I thought was pretty interesting, is the fact that The Pac-12 has a day rest in between their semifinal and their championship game, and the ACC and the SEC don't. So, guys, the semifinals for the Pac-12 was yesterday, so Friday. So today is Saturday. They had all the Saturday to rest, and they play tomorrow, which is Sunday. That you oppose that with the ACC, who literally just played today, and the SEC, who just finished their game. So now this is a little bit this is problematic, right? This is helpful for the Pac-12 because, if someone's hurt or you just need an extra rest, you have time, right? And when players are playing every single day, it could possibly lead to injuries. And I like the fact that the Pac-12 had a day of rest in between. That is something that a lot of other conferences do not have, most notably the ACC and the SEC. So we'll see. Both leagues play tomorrow. The ACC, SEC. Mikaylah says the Big Ten doesn't have rest as well. Yeah. Big Ten as well. Yeah. So it's kind of rough. It's good for the Pac-12. It's smart for them to do that. But for the other conferences, you might want to do it because you're going to come to a point where you're going to have so many injuries, and it's just going to be like, okay, well, what are you doing? What is going on? It's too much. It is absolutely too many games in so little time. I absolutely understand that you want to maximize dollars. You want, you want to the space that you're in, you want to have it for the least amount of time, right? So you want to condense the games. So that way you can get in and out, and you probably don't have to pay as much rental fees or whatever. I get that, but also player safety. Now guys, if we take again, this is going to be a severe issue for Yukon in the Big East, because if we take a look again at the Big East stuff, so we have so they played Friday, first round. Quarterfinals was today. They play the semifinals tomorrow, and then they play the final on Monday. That is very, very close. And again, Aalyah Edwards is, she hurt her nose. We don't know if she'll be back to play for she likely will. I think she probably will be back. But let's just say she wasn't. UConn has 8 players. They had 8 players available for today. If she's out, you have 7 players. Now you may be entering the championship game with 7 players. that's not good. that is not good for the game. And if I know they really care about the ratings and they care about viewership and all that stuff, it's not even good for that. Because if a top player gets hurt and maybe it's not a severe injury, maybe all they need is a day rest, they can't get that and they won't play in the game. So when it comes to your bottom line, I actually think it could hurt that. So smart. Pac-12 was smart. Everybody else, not smart for not having a day rest. Thank you so much, High Vibrations, with the super chat. High Vibrations says, forgive me if you've already explained this, but how do they choose the seating for the NCAA tournament? There is a committee that chooses that. There's a committee that chooses that, and they choose it based off of record. They choose it from based off of the net rating. So the teams that others have played, and also how they competed in those games, and also they choose it based off of injury as well. So for example, if you look at a team like let me think of a team. Let me think of a team that has an injury that this may come into effect with. Think about Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech has they lost in the ACC tournament. They lost to Notre Dame. And they also don't have Kitley. Elizabeth Kitley is hurt for Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech is, in my opinion, going to be a number 1 seed even though they lost today, they're going to be a number 1 seed if Elizabeth Kitley is healthy for the NCAA tournament. If she is not healthy, that is one of the things that the committee takes a look at is health of the players. So if she is not healthy, I don't think they're going to be a number 1 seed. I think they're going to drop down to probably the 2 seed, maybe even the 3 seed. It depends. It depends on how everybody else does. But yeah, it is a committee that determines that. And they determine it from the various things I just said. Injuries, strength of schedule, quality wins, whether you're on a roll or not. Like there's a lot of things that sort of determine where they put people. David says, first of all, David, thank you so much for the super chat. David says, don't care about the Pac-12, but I will shut up for those who do. It seems like a lot of y'all don't care about the Pac-12. I mean, I still cover it, because I still think it's a great conference, and it's on its way out. So yeah. B Girl 1214 says so many teams have done open tryouts at their campuses. Injuries are ridiculous this season. Yeah, they are. They absolutely are ridiculous. And it's a thing with women's basketball. It is a thing. R1 says Virginia Tech is no way going to be at number 1. They lost their last 2 games when they were a 2 before. I think if Elizabeth Kitley is healthy, they're going to be put at a number 1 seed. The bad losses that they've had, Elizabeth Kitley's hurt. So especially today's game, like I think they're not. I don't think the committee is putting that much stock into these games. Same thing from when Lauren Betts was out for UCLA. Those losses, UCLA didn't. Those losses didn't mean as much because their best player in Lauren Betts wasn't playing. So I think that's something that the committee looks at is injuries. Quan Don says, nah, ACC the toughest conference. I think ACC is a close second, but I really do think the Pac-12 is the toughest conference. I do. I really do think they're the toughest conference. Yeah. Every game is an absolute battle for the Pac-12. I mean, it is too. It is the same for the ACC, but I think it's tougher for the Pac-12. B Girl 1214 says ACC is tough, 3-way tie for second place in NC State, Notre Dame, and Syracuse. Surprised if Virginia Tech is still number 1. I think if Kitley is healthy, which I don't think Kitley will be healthy at the start of the NCAA tournament. If she is healthy, they will be the number 1 seed. I don't think she's going to be healthy to start the conference. I mean, to start NCAA play. So I don't think they're going to be number 1 seed. But if she is, I think they will be. But that's not likely going to happen. Audrey says Hannah Hidalgo was robbed of the ACC Player of the Year for sure. Better season than Kitley, and just as important, if not more important, for her team. I mean, I get why Kitley won. I do. Kitley has been phenomenal. But also, I do think that there should have at least been a co-MVP. At least. Because Hannah Hidalgo, it is not just the fact that it's not just the fact that that this is a team that relies on a player like a Hannah Hidalgo. It's the fact that Hannah Hidalgo is so crucial to doing anything really for Notre Dame. She is the player. She is their defensive juggernaut. She is the player who locks down players. She is the player who gets her hands up and gets lots of steals. She is also the player who dictates the offense for this team. She's the player who scores the points. She's the player who looks for her teammates and makes the right decisions at the right time. I think that Hannah Hidalgo is phenomenal. And she has just continued to show how good she really is. She continued to show how good she really is. And it's just, it's fun to see. Yeah, it would have been great if she would have been at least the co-MVP, at least. Because it's not just her offense, it's the defense. It's the defense that really is impactful for this team. And speaking of Notre Dame, let's look at the ACC real quick. So Notre Dame beat Virginia Tech earlier today. They destroyed Virginia Tech earlier today, 82-53. And we also saw NC State give Florida State the business. So we do have another date with Destiny tomorrow. Y'all, we got Notre Dame versus NC State for the SEC championship, guys. This is going to be a fun game to watch. This is going to be a very, very fun game to watch. My belief is that I do believe that Notre Dame will beat NC State. I do think NC State will lose to Notre Dame, and Notre Dame will be your champions for the ACC. I do think that's what's going to happen. We will see what actually happens. Let me know, guys, in the comments if y'all have a prediction on that. So yeah, let me know, guys, if y'all have a prediction. I think Hannah is going to go off. I believe that Sonia Citron is going to go off. I believe that Maddie Westbeld is going to go off, and it's going to be fun to see. It is going to be fun to see for this team. Now there is one other thing I wanted to talk about for this Notre Dame team, and I want to talk about the fact that they also have an injury. They also have an injury. So Kylie Watson is hurt. She went down for Notre Dame earlier today. So they're gonna have to do it without her. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, she is hurt. And I'm not sure if she will actually play in the game tomorrow. I am not sure. She hurt her knee. And guys, when players hurt their knee, it is something serious. So prayers up for Kylie Watson that she's okay. But it doesn't look good for the Irish to not have Kylie Watson. I do still think they can win without her. But that is a big loss for this team. That really is a big loss for this team. Yeah, you're right. R1. Yeah, Notre Dame is down players. Yep. B-Girl says, what do you mean conference tournament losses don't matter? They matter. I'm saying I am saying that if a key player, a key critical player is injured for the team and they lose, I think it doesn't matter as much because that key player is injured. Assuming that key player is ready to go when the NCAA tournament happens. Now with Virginia Tech, it depends. If they say that Elizabeth Kitley is raring to go, she is raring to go for the NCAA tournament, she is all good to go, then I think that's something that is weighed when the committee thinks about where they place them, because yes, they got killed by Notre Dame just now, but how much weight do you put that because their best player was out and supposedly their best player should be ready for the tournament? Again, I don't think that she's going to be ready for the tournament. Love You Most says Kim Mulkey just announced Poa's scan was clear and she has movement in her extremities. Y'all, this is fantastic news. this is absolutely fantastic news because, yeah, it looked scary. It looked very, very scary. But I am very, very happy to hear that. I am very much happy to hear that. Guys, I do want to show part of the post-game interview with LSU. So I'm gonna move to that in just a sec because I think I do want us to sort of take a listen to what the players for LSU had to say. All right, so let's take a look at that. And again, shout out to LSU Tigers on Tiger Bait for posting the video on YouTube. All right, let's hear what the team has to say.
For Coach Mulkey. Over here on the right.
Chessie Boucher with MEC 33 in Baton Rouge. Angel, I've asked you about Poa before, and you've talked about how everybody deserves to have a Poa on their team. After that huddle when she was carted off, you were emotional. What was going through your mind and just, playing for her?
She means so much for this team. I mean, she sacrifices her body every single night. I think she has 30 charges this year, and being able to understand that could have happened at any moment. And that's why I was telling the Flau'jae, don't blame yourself for this. Don't blame yourself for this. And just trying to keep the team together as much as we can, because Poa will want us to stay together. Poa will want us to play hard and do this for her and win this game and play tough. She is one of the toughest players on our team. So being able to just fight that one out, and we hit a couple big shots, and we all just said, that's for Poa, that's for Poa, that's for Poa. And we kept trying to get through that. That was the hardest 5 minutes of a game that I've ever played. So emotionally, physically, mentally, I think we just stayed poised and stayed together at that time.
Corey?
Angel and Aneesah both. Angel, you kind of touched on a little bit there, but just talk about you guys coming together while they were, helping last year, and just kind of what were the conversations amongst you ladies while that was happening? Just, how did you guys get through that last 5+ minutes tonight?
Everybody was emotional and tearing up, but our team done been through hell. Let's be honest. And we just told each other we have to have each other back. We've been through worse than this, and just have Poa back because she would want us to win this game for her.
Pete?
Kim, can you give us any more update on last year? And I guess TV said that you told the players she had movement in her limbs. Is that the case?
Yes. As I was walking to this press conference, the trainer told me that her CAT scan, is that right? CT scan, CAT scan, whatever you call it, came back clean. So that's wonderful news. I spoke to her mother. Of course, she's from Australia. The kid took quite a lick on the back of her head. I did not see it. I saw it on the film just a minute ago, and I wouldn't even look at it. I know enough about Poa that if she can't get up and she tries to get up, and she's in bad shape. Her teammates know that. So she was just a little bit unresponsive, mostly is how I would describe it. She could squeeze your hand lightly. She could tell you she could feel her legs, but she couldn't really articulate good enough for you not to be afraid. And the kids were right there, so they saw it all. So I sent them to the bench and told Coach Starkey to take over while I stayed with Poa. I've been doing this a long time, and I've seen some pretty bad injuries. I had a young lady that went paralyzed, came back later. I had a young lady go blind in an eye. And this is supposed to be a non-contact sport. Poa is one of the toughest kids I've coached. Mm-hmm. And I know she will be fine. I know the power of prayer. And we were doing a lot of praying in that huddle.
All right, guys. So that is what Coach Kim Mulkey had to say at today's presser. Great news about a player like Lester Poa that she is. Her CT scan was clear, or CAT scan, or whatever that's called. It was clear, and then she's able to move her extremities. That is absolutely freaking-tastic news. David says, first of all, David, thank you so much for the super chat. David says, yeah, injury sucks for a team and more for a player. As a Christian, I will pray for them every time I hear about it. Yes, absolutely. That's what we need to do. That is what we need to do. We need to pray. And sure, whatever. It'd be great if she returned back to LSU, but I'm praying for her health as a person. I'm praying that there are no lasting effects from this injury, and I'm praying that the doctors and nurses and everybody who takes care of her, they are skilled and ready to go, and they understand what happened, and they're able to give her treatment for the future. And also I pray for like her family and whatnot, because they're across the world right now, and that has to be hard to have your kid get hurt, and they probably was watching, you see it on TV, and you can't do anything about it. You can't go. You can't be there to console her, to be there for her, to actually really know what's going on. That has to be tough. That absolutely has to be tough. And so absolutely praying for her, praying for her family, praying for the minds of everybody, like the players who witnessed that, right? Praying for the coaches who witnessed that. Like that has to take a emotional toll on you. So yeah. Absolutely. Mo says, update on Poa. She is expected to be released from the hospital tonight. That is great. That is great news. Kyra says, shout out to Aneesah, still putting a lash on that black ass leg queen. Aneesah like, hey, I know I got a black eye, but I'm still gonna look good though. Oh, man. Yeah, Marcia. Yeah. Imagine being in another country while your kid is suffering and hurt. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. 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 Yes. Hey, prayer changes things. Prayer works. I am a witness that prayer works. Y'all, it works. All the time. So yeah, let's, Ingrid says, LSU Twitter account announced she might be released from the hospital tonight. Great. Here, I can pull that up so we all can take a look at it together. So we all can take a look. All right, so yeah, LSU posted on Instagram, or not Instagram, on Twitter, and they have some fantastic news to share with us. They have some fantastic news to share. Here it is, guys. See it right here. They said Poa suffered a concussion, but has movement and feeling throughout her body. She is expected to be released from the hospital tonight. That's fantastic news, guys. This is great. This is great. Yeah. The Tiger on Twitter says, observation, Virginia Tech is done for the season, whether Kitley can play or not. Really? I mean, I think, well, they won't make it far in the NCAA tournament if, even if Kitley returns, because she won't be 100%. But they absolutely have no chance at all if she is out, for the remainder of the season. They could make it. They could win maybe 1 or 2 games, but if she comes back, But I don't see them going far because even if she does come back, she's not going to be 100%. She's not going to be 100%. Paris says, Quita, when's the next time you're going to a game? I mean, I will, next game I go to is probably going to be a Sky game. So I was trying to get everything situated to possibly go to the Final Four. It didn't work out. So, will not be going to the Final Four this year. I will watch it here and cover it for you guys. But the next game I go to will probably be a Chicago Sky game. Because the season is starting very, very soon, guys. If you don't have your WNBA tickets, make sure to get your WNBA tickets. Mikaylah says, yeah, I feel like that was a concussion. That was a severe concussion. A severe. Leak says the likes, yeah, y'all hit that like button. Hit that like button, y'all. Hit that like button. Yes, Leak, I agree. The likes need to match the views. So yeah, if y'all can, please hit that like button. That would be absolutely fantastic. DD in Tennessee says the first person I saw crying was the Rosario. That got me. Yeah, it's rough. Absolutely rough. Okay, guys. Let's do a quick preview before we leave for the day. Let's do a quick preview of the game of the year, part 2, guys. We are getting ready for the game of the year, part 2. Tomorrow, we have LSU versus South Carolina, guys. This is going to be a game. Now, the first game was a movie. The first game when we saw LSU go against South Carolina earlier this year, it was a sight to behold. It was a very fun game to watch. Of course, South Carolina came out on top. They are still the lone undefeated team in the NCAA right now. And, they won at LSU's home. So that means a lot more as well. And as we look into the game tomorrow, it's a question of what are we going to expect. So if you don't know, the last time they played again was on January the 25th, and South Carolina won that game by 6 points. They won 76-70. Now they play tomorrow. That last game was in Baton Rouge, so LSU had their fans out there. Now they're on a neutral site for the SEC tournament, and now the question is, who is going to pull off the dub? Who is going to pull out the victory? Now, I think with the news about last year Poa, I don't know how LSU wins this game. I think it's going to be very, very tough watching LSU win the game tomorrow because last year Poa is out. Last year Poa is a huge key to this team. And this is a team that doesn't really have a bench. I mean, they do have a bench. It's not the same situation as Yukon where they have a bench, but the whole bench is injured, so they're all in street clothes. That's not the situation. But for this LSU team, they have a healthy bench for the most part, and they just don't play. That's the thing. They have not proven themselves, at least to Kimoki, to warrant actually getting playing time. So I think tomorrow we might see Janae Kent start. Actually, we likely will see Janae Kent start in the game tomorrow because it was last year Poa, Hailey Van Lith, Angel Reese, Aneesah Morrow, Flau'jae Johnson. Those were the starters today. Now with last year Poa out, Janae Kent is going to have the game of her life. And she's not a player that's played a ton today, this season. But she's played more than the rest of the bigs for the most part. It's been the bench for this season for LSU has been Aalyah Del Rosario, and it has been last year Poa. But with Mikaylah Williams out, last year Poa has started. Will Mikaylah Williams play in this championship game? No, I don't think so. And I don't think she should, honestly. Sure, it'd be great if LSU won, but it'd be even worse if they won and Mikaylah Williams hurt her foot even more. She's dealing with plantar fasciitis. So if she hurt that thing even more, what was the point, right? So I don't think Mikaylah Williams will play. I think Janae has to show up. She is a 6'1" freshman who hasn't done a ton. But yeah, she was a baller in high school. And we will see. So far, the best game she's had all season was 7 points. That was the best game she's had all year is 7 points, and she had that against Texas Southern. The most minutes she's had was 19 minutes in a game, and she had that against McNeese. So she hasn't been in a game with meaningful minutes on the clock, right? So we will see what happens. So she has to step up. Yes, of course. Also, Hailey Van Lith has to show up. Flau'jae Johnson has to continue to be the big foe that we have seen. The offensive-minded big foe that we have seen, not just the defensive juggernaut. And Angel, Reese, and Aneesah Morrow are going to have to play out their minds in order for this team to win. Like this is an uphill battle for LSU. Sure, can they pull up the upset? Can South Carolina get got? Yes. South Carolina can get got. Will they? Do I think they will? No, I don't think they will. And the reason why is because we just look at this team. We look at the South Carolina roster, and I mean, I don't know. Of course, you have the starting lineup, but then you also have the bench players who come in and just absolutely dominate, right? So for the starters, again, you have Bree Hall, you have Tahina Powpow, you have Raven Johnson, you have Camila Cardoso, you have Chloe Kitts that are all healthy, are all doing well, and then you go to the bench and you got Tessa Johnson, you got Ashlyn Watkins, you got Mikaylah Fulwiley. I don't know. I don't know how LSU can pull off the win because they're going to get tired. They're going to get you can't. Yeah, they're going to get tired, or someone's going to get in foul trouble, and you're going to have to play these players that don't really play. Now the question is, can they show up? Can they show up when it matters the most? And if you're looking at a team like, hey, I'm gonna make it's gonna be a stretch. It's gonna be a stretch of an analogy, but if y'all watched the WNBA finals last season, you remember the fact that the Las Vegas Aces had 2 starters out. You had Kia Stokes out, had a boot on her foot. You had Chelsea Gray out, and they had to rely on the bench players to show up and show out, right? And they heavily relied on 2 players who barely played that year, in Sydney Colson and in Kayla Davis. I believe Kayla Davis started that game, and Sydney Colson came off the bench with Alicia Clark starting. And that game, it was the tale of players who normally don't play showing up and showing out. Can LSU do that tomorrow? Can LSU on Sunday show up and show out, and the bench players who barely play, can they make it happen? I mean, the Las Vegas Aces did it. They with 2 bench players that barely played, they showed up and beat the New York Liberty. Can South Carolina get got? Yes, they can. But it's going to take a Las Vegas Aces-like game for them to get the dub. Can players I'm sorry, not Kayla Davis, Kayla George. I don't know why I got Kayla Davis. Is there a Kayla Davis in women's college basketball or something? I don't know. Anyway, Kayla George. There we go. Kayla George. Can LSU show up? Can Janae can't play out of her mind? Can she? Angelica Velez, she might get in the game. Can she show up when it matters the most? can it happen? You're going to have to heavily rely on Aalyah Del Rosario. Continue to rely on Aalyah Del Rosario. Can Aalyah Del Rosario not just give you minutes, but can she dominate when she's on the court? That's the question. You're going to have to have a Las Vegas Aces type game in order to win this game. You're gonna have to do it. You're gonna have to do it. KG says Kayla Davis used to play for South Carolina. Maybe that's why that's in my head. I don't know. I don't know why Davis was in my head, but yeah, Kayla George, the Australian herself, Kayla George. So yeah, I don't know how like relevant or how much you all like get that reference, but I do think, you know, we've seen it where the Las Vegas Aces made it happen. So can LSU have a similar type game? Can they? It's possible. It is absolutely possible. KG says LSU is no aces. Yeah, they're not. But it still stands the fact that it's possible that it can happen. It is absolutely possible. Is it likely? No, it is not likely. But it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting. DD says the Aces absolutely took care of business. I'm a Gamecocks fan, but LSU can do it. Coacho says I was literally thinking the same Aces comparison. See, there we go. Great minds think alike, man. Great minds think alike, like Coacho. Bean Up says, don't hate. LSU has got this. This is not me hating. This is just me acknowledging reality. Sure, if LSU wins, dude, I love it. Because that'd be a huge upset. That would be an epic upset. Epic. Of the same proportions as Camila Cardoso hitting that Storytime 3 earlier today. If LSU wins, oh my goodness, that would be a game to remember. If LSU wins, hey, if they win, I'm down for it. I don't think they will, but I'm down for it. I am down for it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't think it's likely. I don't think it's likely that LSU wins, but stranger things have happened. There are things called upsets. And remember, guys, if you forgot, I'm going to remind you, anybody can get got. Anybody. Don't matter who you are, and it don't matter who you playing against. You can get got. All right, guys. I do want to also, before we go, I also do want to just give a quick preview of what we'll see tomorrow in the Pac-12 game. So tomorrow we do have that Stanford versus USC game. Now, this is going to be a fun game to watch. Now, USC is the underdogs in my opinion, and they're going to have to go against Stanford. Stanford is a team that has a lot of talent. That they had a very close game against Oregon State on Friday. I do anticipate Stanford getting the dub in this game. I think that Stanford has a lot of the things that USC doesn't have. So when we look at Stanford versus USC, for Stanford, we think about two players, right? We think about, of course, Cameron Brink, one of the best players in the country, right? But for Stanford, we also think about Kiki Iraofen. Kiki Iraofen, who has at times put Stanford on her back. And even when Cameron Brink was having an off night, it was Kiki Iraofen who stepped up and helped make things happen for the Stanford Cardinals. These players, I think, are going to have a great game tomorrow. Now, when you compare Stanford with USC, it's for Stanford it's the bigs, and for USC it's Juju Watkins. I could say, sure, I can say the guards. It's the guards for USC, but it's Juju Watkins. It is Juju Watkins who has to play like a 40 to 50 point game. She has to, in order for them to get the dub. We will again see what happens. I do want to refresh our memories about the last time Stanford played USC, because I think that's something that we should talk about real quick. Just want to refresh my memory on this, because this I believe. Hold on, guys, 1 second. Oh yeah, that was the game. Okay, yeah, I wanted to refresh my memory on the last time that USC played Stanford, because I was like, am I remembering this right? So yeah, guys, we saw that USC got Stanford earlier this year at their home. Might I add, at their home. USC won 58-67 the last time they played, and in that game, we saw what we usually see when we're looking at a player like Juju Watkins. She had 51 points in that game. 51 points in that game. So that is a thing. But one thing to note about USC is that, yes, she was still playing in the game, but we saw Juju Watkins hurt her ankle a couple times. And she struggled. She struggle busted in yesterday's game, but she still got her team the dub. But as we look for this game tomorrow, that's also going to be a huge factor for this team. Can we see Juju Watkins be able to grind it out for 40 minutes? Because she's likely going to have to play the whole game. Can she grind it out on a bum ankle and make some stuff happen? Can we see a 51-point game again on a bum ankle for a player like Juju Watkins? Who knows? I think it's going to be tough, but if any player can do it, it's Juju Watkins. But for USC to win, if they were to win, they're going to need a monster performance from Juju Watkins. They are also going to need Mackenzie Forbes to show up. Now, Mackenzie Forbes has talent, but I feel like sometimes she doesn't show up. She has to show up. She has to have at least 15 to 17 points in this game. At least. You need Raya Marshall to show up in this game. You need Kayla Padilla to show up in this game. It can't just be Juju Watkins. It can't. Especially on a bum ankle. It can't just be her. You have to have other players step up for this team. And they can. And they have stepped up at times. But the problem is consistency is a huge factor. So for Stanford, in order for them to win, I think Cameron Brink and Kiki Aalyah just have to play the game they normally play. And you also need Hannah Jump to play the game, like to play a good game as well. And I think as long as that happens, I think they got it. Yeah. I think they just need to play a good game. For Stanford, and they'll win. I think that's going to be the thing. You need three players: Cameron Brink, Kiki Aalyah, and Hannah Jump. That's what you need. And as long as they got that, they got the dub, in my opinion. But guys, let me know what you all think in the comments below. What games are you all planning on watching tomorrow? Let me know. So we do have a triple header, guys. We're going to see the Pac-12 tournament title. We're going to see the ACC tournament title, and then we're going to see the SEC tournament title. So guys, let me know, what games are you all watching? Are you all watching all of the games, or are you watching some of the games? Let me know your list of games that you all plan on watching today or tomorrow, I should say. But guys, yeah, that's basically the stream, guys. That is basically the stream. Let's do a quick look at the Big 12 real quick. Let's take a look at the Big 12. So for the Big 12, we saw Iowa State get a huge W against get a huge W against Baylor today. Now, y'all, Audie Crooks is legit. She is legit, and she is the future of women's college basketball, in my opinion. She is the future. She is the absolute future, and I can't wait for us to continue to see her playing in the future. Yes, she's with Iowa State, and Iowa State has a really good group of freshmen that are making stuff happen. But it all starts and ends with Audie Crooks. And today she had 23 points, 11 of 18 from the field. If she stays with Iowa State, and I hope she stays with Iowa State. This is not me hoping that she doesn't. I hope she does stay with Iowa State. If she stays with Iowa State is about to be a behemoth to deal with. They are about to be a behemoth to deal with because Audie Crooks is, y'all, she's legit. She is straight up legit. Y'all, she is, I would say she's a slightly undersized undersized center. She's 6'3", so, that's tall, but it's not like, WNBA center tall. You have like the likes of Camila Cardoso at 6'7". So like Audie Crooks is not the tallest player in the world, but this girl is solid. She doesn't move off her square, and she's gonna get her shots up. And I just love it. I love watching her play. She's pretty efficient from the field as well, and she just goes to work. They give her the ball and she goes to work. Y'all, so we do have Iowa State versus Oklahoma. And then we have Texas versus, I'm not even sure if that game is over. It was West Virginia and K-State was playing earlier today. I don't even know if that game is over to know who won. But yeah, guys, I don't know what there is to say about Audie. She's great. Jan Michael says, love Audie Crooks. Yeah. Miss Peach says, I love Audie. Yeah. I'm glad y'all are rocking with Audie Crooks. I like that y'all rocking because, like, sure, in Iowa, yes, the talk of the town in Iowa is all about Caitlyn Clark, but y'all, the future of Iowa, the state of Iowa, the future of the state of Iowa's women's basketball, it is Audie Crooks. It is. Michael says K-State won. It was a great game. It felt like a tournament game. Oh, great. Okay. All right. That's great. Miss Drama Queen says, I saw Raven Johnson get emotional when Poa went down. I truly admire these women. They are competitors, but they leave it on the court. I love the love. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, yes, when they're on the court, they trash talking. They getting after each other. They're doing all this stuff. But like, ultimately, they care about each other. They care about the competitors that they play against, and they don't want to see anybody get hurt. So, absolutely makes sense. That I'm sure all the other players and teams that were there, they all probably was very emotional about it because it's a huge loss. Yes, JB. JB says Audie is a tank. She is So tough to handle in the paint. A matchup nightmare for sure. Yeah. In a similar way, in terms of like her like solidness in the paint. Now, maybe this is a little bit of a stretch, but I like comparing players to other players. And I get a little bit of when I look at a player like Audie Crooks, I get a little bit of oh my God, how am I blanking on her name? Oh no, how am I blanking on her name? Never mind, guys. I can't. I guess I've talked too much that I just can't even think anymore.
Every time I thrive it.
Oh, Alyssa Peely. There we go. I get a little bit of Alyssa Peely vibes when I look at Audie. I get Alyssa Peely vibes because Alyssa Peely is another player who is definitely way more undersized than Audie Crooks. And is a player that just can absolutely work you in the paint. Solid. You cannot knock them off their square. Has the handles to not get the ball stolen and make stuff happen in the paint. Like I am absolutely seeing vibes of Audie Crooks and Alyssa Peely. I know it's a little bit of a stretch, but not quite of a stretch. JV says, what a cliffhanger, Quita. I know, it's JV. I feel like I've been talking so much today that like sometimes when you talk so much, you just can't even think. Like you're sort of at a loss for words. That's basically what I was. But anyway, I do see some similarities between Alyssa Peely and Audie Crooks. They are both players who are super, super solid in the post. You can't knock them off their square. And they have the handles and they have the handles to figure out a way to score the ball. And that's something that I think is pretty awesome. Guys, I think this is about it for me today. This is about it. I am delirious. I can't think of players' names. So I think we might have to call it a quit for the day. What up, Coco? Hope you're doing well. Coco. I do want to say I hope you all are having a fantastic day so far. I hope you all enjoyed the games that we saw today. Again, keep last year Poa in your prayers. Oh, that was my nighttime bell that just went. So I think that is time for me to go to sleep. All right, guys. I appreciate y'all. I will be back tomorrow for another live stream. So we will see. We will have a couple of live streams tomorrow. Probably like a short one after the different games. I'm trying to decide whether it should be short ones after the different games or if it should be one massive one that just recaps all the different championship games. We'll see. I will keep you all posted on what happens, guys. Get ready. Go to sleep. Get a good night rest and get ready to watch some fantastic women's basketball tomorrow. I hope you all have a great night. Be safe. Eat some food. And then I will talk to y'all next time. Until next time, guys. Bye, y'all.